Let's do it. Let's get in there.
Let's do it. Because, we didn't cast enough Armani during IEM.
Exactly. Love how the lobby just floods in. We're in here with the Korean
just
caster.
like IEM.
Yep, Korean caster Maddox. We've got the Spanish caster Aquario. I'm not too sure who Demon Swap is, but yeah, pretty sick.
Pretty sick city. Dear casters, no! we won't know what Sleepy Ash wanted to tell us now.
I have maybe a little bit of time to figure out what kind of teams these guys are on.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Or I should ask you one thing first, like, are you free?
Africa TV.
Here we go. In the top left-hand corner map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ephemeran LE, we have the Reds, the player, who we are contractually obligated to cast whenever we have the opportunity. It's, I'm pretty sure it's like a blood oath or something like that. Or how else can you explain it? We have repping Africa TV SC2. No, not Africa. Well, he is repping Africa TV since he can only stream there. But representing Africa Freaks as well as the Republic of Korea. He has no nickname and he blesses the reins. He is Armani.
Game paused.
We're on Taiwan.
Just a reminder, Control Shift 3.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all done.
Sick.
Game resumed.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of Ephemeran LE, we have the Swedish Zerg representing himself as he is teamless, but I imagine he's in Korea right now. Oh, that's a...
He's pulling a Jim! He's pulling a Jim!
That's exactly what Jim did. It is SortOf. Mate. You say pulling a Jim. We actually saw this in Battle of the Americas.
Oh, it wasn't Jim.
We saw this in Zerglord versus Cham, I believe. I'll have to recheck.
ZvZ.
There were a lot of ZvZs in Battle of the
So
Americas.
what you're telling me is this is a Latin America build.
Sort of isn't quite Latin American, but sure, why not?
Honorary, Sweden is like the Latin America of the Nordics.
Yep. So Armani.
Nice drone drill from Armani.
Yeah, he just has to hold off until those lings pop out, but he is waiting for the lings to hatch from those eggs, waiting to surround them, and they will be, I imagine. Ooh, they slip through though.
Some of them are nice. Once again, mineral walking. They're getting absolutely the best surface area I think he could have. Armani does. But the lings are in, and they do make mincemeat out of these drones. Plus, the spine is still a building.
Yeah, the spine is still building.
Armani's gonna have to retreat.
Yeah, there are only a handful of drones left for Armani.
This is one of the biggest oofs if I've ever saw one. I would not be surprised if Armani taps out. GG is called. And there we have it. A very quick game one. It's best of 3 series.
GG. Damn. Look at that.
Damn. We're already in the round of 16.
Yeah. Oh, Sleepy Ash, the admin. Oh, there's also a crew match going on, but we'll stick with SortOf and Armani.
Yep.
That's all good. Stick with these guys. Meanwhile, in the lower half of this bracket, does seem like there is a Mexico versus Mexico going on, Special versus Sinner.
Ooh.
Which is cool to see.
Guadalajara Bowl. Let's check the bracket and see if there are any without scores. Okay, so they've updated the bracket. So they're just asking for a double check.
Alright, the lobby has been made.
Yep, we're going into Triton. Or or we will soon. What do you think Armani's going to pull out this time?
Yeah,
You think SortOf? That's not a build that you can reliably do. SortOf is not going to do it 2 times in a row. I would be surprised if he does it more than once in this entire bracket, honestly.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that 2 games in a row, especially against a player like Armani. Really important to note though that it was super important that he wasn't trying to kill the drones when he got to the base of Armani. He was instead waiting, trying to surround the Lings pop out of those eggs. That's the mistake that we saw in Battle of the Americas. In Battle of the Americas, we saw that build fail as he tried to go for the drones, because eventually the drones bought enough time for the Lings to come, and then they drone drilled, and then they just surrounded everything. But yeah, waiting for the eggs to hatch like that was really smart. Well played. Okay, it seems like the reason why the bracket was taking so long to update was because the admin has to do it manually. Previously, the players could.
Got it. Yeah, I guess if the players were used to, manually putting in their scores, probably didn't realize, oh, we have to report this.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, we have it here in the bottom right corner map, sweating in the bottom right corner of Triton LE. We have the Reds. Glida gotta. No, wait, I can't do that twice in a row. It's like, you can't be like, you can't
where's
do
the rating?
Cheese Bowl 2 games in a row, but where's the rating? The brains down in Africa. He blesses them. He also blesses them on the Africa TV. We have the Reds representing Africa Freaks, as well as South Korea. We have the most fashionable player in all of StarCraft 2, or he would be if he could get the sponsorship. We have Armani.
I feel like we need like a Victoria's Secret or like a Calvin Klein, you know what I mean?
Just as player names? Just as somebody
exactly.
player name?
Yes, yeah. And then they all need to join the same team. Oh,
there we go.
Fashionistas.
Dude.
Speaking of fashionistas, this is maybe one of them. I don't know. In the top left-hand corner of Trident LE, we have the Swedish Zerg, currently teamless. I imagine in Korea in the team house. Otherwise, he wouldn't be playing in this. We have SortOf.
Or maybe he just stayed up all night.
It's possible.
Doused a bunch of eggs. Eggs? Yeah, doused some like raw eggs, You
mean the Colombian player?
Did a bunch of push-ups for a jog, and it's like, all right, I'm ready.
He is literally the only European player in the bracket, so I'm pretty sure he's in Korea. It's a pretty awful time to be up.
Or if there were more European players, that would be indicative of more in the team house.
But there aren't.
I don't know where I was going with that.
But, as opposed to game number 1, we do have pretty standard builds coming out from both of these players. They're both mirroring each other, doing the exact same thing, going for their own respective third bases, droning up and getting their Link speed at the same time. No one's skipping anything. It's pretty...
My favorite.
Pretty straight up. Yeah. I do quite enjoy this. We do have a Baneling Nest coming down from SortOf so far. There it is, Baneling Nest for Armani, just a little bit behind, as he did choose to go for a couple of Lings instead. Quite nice. And yeah, based off of these openings, unless one of these players decides to apply a bunch of Ling Bane pressure, we're probably gonna transition into a more regular Roach v Roach game. And saying that, Armani is starting to make a couple of Lings though, so he will be looking to be aggressive.
Is getting his metabolic boost. I say that like it's unique for players are getting metabolic boost, but yeah, he is rallying his eggs all the way across the map, or most of them anyway. He is looking to get a denial on this third. Will he get it or not is going to be the question. The Baneling Nest has already, actually for both players, it's already finished.
Well, he gets into
but
the
we'll
natural.
have to see who uses them better. That he does. And he does see the Evo. Wait. Does see the Evo chamber, does see the Baneling Nest, knows exactly what he's up against. Nice little wall here from Armani. Not even too many buildings, not even a full wall.
Yeah, I like it. It's a very impromptu wall, and yeah, there it is. Both players going for that +1 range, so both players looking to get into those roaches. Neither one.
My favorite.
Yeah, we have this divergence, so SortOf is getting a faster layer, so we will be getting roach speed a lot faster. Meanwhile, Armani, he is opting to go for more drones. Say more drones, like one more drone.
Well, you know, that one drone is gonna bring home like 6,000 minerals or something.
Yeah.
Armani is starting to posture around. Once again, gonna be looking for that denial. Does get a couple of banelings on the way. SortOf already has his defensive banes. But that's a lot of... Yeah, that is a lot of drones. Pulls away, but doesn't quite split as effectively. Oh, he can! He does get the queen in the end. Nicely done from a red Zerg player. And now he's looking for the mineral line. Looking for the mineral line. He does get a splash, and these Zerglings do clean up. But doesn't actually get that much economic damage.
Yeah, it was almost those juicy hits. Like, all of those red health drones could have gone down if that second Baneling managed to squeeze into that mineral line. But SortOf does snipe it off with the queen and only loses 3 drones, which is pretty good. And now it's SortOf's turn to apply the pressure.
Apply the pressure. He's looking, dude. These roaches look very exposed, like it could get surrounded. But SortOf does not want to risk it. He just goes in for a scout, pulls away. I cannot fight that. I won't try. I'm gonna build up my forces, and then what? What are you gonna do? Die is what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
both players are starting their arms race, or their roach race, if you will.
Yeah, even though Armani's lair was later and his roach one was later, he is starting out with a higher roach count, as it does seem like SortOf was forced to make more lings than he wanted to. And yeah, we do have Armani also being the first to get his 4th.
That indeed he is. Gets a really good scout into SortOf's base. SortOf wants to reciprocate that with a 4th of his own. All these overlords, man, they're just around the map.
Yeah.
Patrolling.
This is great, I love it. Armani, unfortunately, was a little bit supply blocked there. He made a huge wave of overlords to send out. And as you can see, the minimap is just going crazy right now.
Yep.
It's just,
but he is playing them, so they should be able to get use outside of supply. Ravagers are starting to be morphed, and it's going to be very, very soon, I think, that we're going to see Armani march straight across the map.
Yeah.
+2 weapons and +1 carapace is on the way. Galile is already finished, but SortOf actually being a little bit cheeky here with his Dropalord.
Ooh, yeah. With all of the overlords patrolling around the map, I imagine Armani is going to spot this eventually. Whether or not he sees it depends. And ooh, I like this. Armani opting for the borrow movement for roaches.
He's pulling a gym. He did move his Ravagers, but he does not have... He did pop them on the Overseer, so he does not... Actually, he does have Force Vial for this Dropalord, but I think he just doesn't realize it.
Well, okay, now he relates to this.
Does... Yeah, I just think he didn't realize it until it was
is
a little
bit
go
down?
late. Is he actually gonna get it?
What?
Oh, one Baneling goes in, and it crashes into nothing. Actually kills a couple of... Oh, it's from this run-by. A couple of drones there. And Armani's got his gas on the pedal. No, wait, his foot in the gas.
Yeah, meanwhile, there's a drop happening in the main of SortOf.
What?
At the same time.
And I kind of like this over Banelings. Banelings, they're flashy, they can do a lot of damage very quickly, but roaches are a lot more reliable, and they can tend to pull your opponent's army back. SortOf is not really taking the bait. He's just gonna rely on a handful of roaches and this queen to chase away this Dropalord. And he does already know where Armani's main army is. Both players are looking to posture, get in position, but this is very dangerous for Armani to walk into this.
You say that,
concave.
Right now Armani does have the upgrade advantage. He does have +2. Meanwhile, SortOf is still working on it.
He does have +2, but as we've seen in the past, it doesn't matter as much as having a really good concave or the number of roaches, but it looks like that's not going to matter in this case. Armani is still trying to poke and prod.
Yeah,
he's not going all the way in. Alright, now he does. And the positioning was in SortOf's favor, but then went into Armani's favor, and now it's kind of difficult to tell. Armani is eating a lot of his vials, but the concave is in the favor of Armani. He has broken him. Man, oh, wow. This is a defeat in detail game if I've ever saw one, and I think we'll go into it later on, but it looks like Armani has just about broken the supply of SortOf. He's going to get his fourth, and he's going to go all the way home. Armani is getting his hive behind us, and he is just getting more and more roaches. He wants to press the attack, but he doesn't want to risk too much either, does not want to overextend. So he's just going to regroup, make sure that his army is in tip-top shape.
Yeah, he takes the win, and then he comes back to regroup. And again, Armani exploiting this timing where he did have that upgrade advantage, and SortOf didn't. It was like only like 20 seconds or so, but he was able to push in and kill the fourth in that time.
You know what I really liked was SortOf got a bit of a concave, right? But his army was slightly split. So what Armani did was he sent all of his army to focus entirely on that small group. And once that was wiped out, he could focus on the larger group of SortOf, which by now, SortOf just had no supply compared to his opponent.
Yeah, and here Armani posturing, and he does cancel the fourth of SortOf with this small group of roaches. Nicely done, and yeah, again, he's able to do this because of that burrow. With that burrow movement, he's able to sneak around these like small groups, these hit squads, and SortOf, he may start getting pulled apart. He is looking to stabilize. Both supplies are looking quite even.
Yeah, they are. It's going to come down entirely onto the positioning once again.
Cancelled once again. Oh my god.
You know what? Armani can just keep doing this for days, and eventually he's going to win. He is already working on his transition. He doesn't want to end it on the rope stage. Look, I try to anyway. He does see the opportunity, but once... actually, we're seeing a bit of a repeat of what happened in the earlier fight. Armani does try to break through, but now SortOf pulls his reinforcements. And he does try to chase Armani away. Armani is not taking the bait. He is trying to bait SortOf's army away. And once again, he's just going to go in wherever he has the larger army.
Yeah, and again, like, this is hurting SortOf so much because he's stuck on 3 bases. And we can see that in the supplies. They're both losing roaches, but Armani, he has the economy to rebuild and resustain his army. And
look at that bank. Look at a gas income advantage.
Oh my god.
It's the burrow comes again.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Armani's getting the 5th. Meanwhile, SortOf, he's still stuck on 3 bases. He's trying to sneak off another base to the right-hand side, but I don't even know if that's going to come into play.
Carapace is done now for SortOf. That can buy him a little bit of time, if possible. But Armani does not want to look to give it to him. This could be an overextension from Armani. And in fact, it might be SortOf. He's looking to posture around, and it actually looks pretty good. His positioning does. But he is eating quite a few of these vials.
Yeah, meanwhile, as this is happening, the 4th base does get cancelled from SortOf in the top right hand corner. Oh my god. And
Armani is just vigilant. Now, SortOf is supply capped for the first time in a good while.
Yeah, he's just losing all these overlords to these vials, and SortOf, he's trying to get his 4th once again on that left-hand side, and he may, but now there are lurkers.
Are lurkers. There isn't not Seismic Spines, it's the other upgrade, so there is a little bit of a window that SortOf can use to try to bile down these lurkers as they try to burrow, but it is a very short window and it has to happen soon. SortOf technically has the higher army supply than Armani, but again, lurkers, you cannot underestimate that when you're mostly a Roach Ravager army.
Yeah, Armani does have the tech upgrade, tech advantage with these lurkers, and it's going to be all about the vials trying to snipe the lurkers.
I don't think SortOf knows where they are at this point. He does have his overseers with him, so he does manage to bile them down, and he just presses his attack. But in doing so, he has bruised up his roaches, and here comes the flank from Armani. The Roach Hydra army is in, and they are starting to clean this out. Actually, getting a little bit distracted with the A move. These Hydras were not fighting the army, they were fighting the overseers.
Yeah, they were blocked as well by these changelings. Nicely done by SortOf.
Nicely done. And
he holds, and he
does.
He resets the
surprisingly. He has reset the lurker count, but now he's a Roach Hydra, not Roach Hydra, sorry, Roach Ravager army facing off a Hydra Roach army, which is not which generally speaking kind of tends to lose the DPS battles. Okay, he does have a few Hydralisks of his own, he does have his lurkers, but Armani is wise. He dives straight on top of them, trying to pick them off, but he actually isn't able to get them. A lot of these forces are bruised, but it doesn't matter anyway. Overwhelming numbers takes the game. Armani does, tying up the series sideways 1-1.
GG. And again, that kind of comes down to the fact that it took sort of so long to get that fourth up and running. Just over time, he was just worn down. And even though he won that fight towards the end where he killed all the lurkers, he just didn't have enough money to rebuild his army, and he was just overwhelmed by Armani.
The slow starve out. Mate.
GG, we're tied up 1-1, just getting ready to get into game number 3. Meanwhile, what do we have happening?
Take a look at the bracket.
Yeah, what's happening? Ooh.
All right, let's see. We got
right.
Neil versus Trap. Neil, Indian player, beating out our Vietnamese representation Nong Nong, and will come up to face Trap in the round of 16. I think that's actually underway already, but I'm not sure who's covering that. Zess beat out Cuddlebear 2-0 and will advance to the quarterfinals. Parting beat out Nice and will advance to the quarterfinals. Quantel versus Creator is finally going to go on.
Ah, nice. We do also have Probe versus Dream happening at the same time, and Special versus Sinner. I imagine Creighton is in, I think he's in the Dream versus Probe series.
Yeah. He was following Gemini and Dream, so it makes sense if he followed Dream.
Mm-hmm. That it does.
And speaking of dreams, Light, I have a dream. No, wait.
What?
Are you free?
Freaka TV.
In the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning in the... He's spawning in the top left-hand corner of Simulacrum Yarhar Fiddly DLE. The Reds representing that team, the Africa Freaks, as well as that website, Africa TV, coming in here to look to see if he can advance to the quarterfinals. This is just gonna do a bit of math, on-stream math. It's generally a bad idea, but I'm gonna do it. Yep, gotta see if he's gonna advance to the quarterfinals or the round of 8. Will he be able to do it? Well, let me tell you, he's got the style to, if he does. The Reds, all the way from South Korea. I don't know why I say all the way from South Korea. It's ESL Asia. We have Armani. Of the Forest Trolls.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of Simulacrum LE, we have a player hailing all the way from Sweden, but is currently living in Korea. Maybe. We're not too sure. It is the Blue Zerg player. It is SortOf.
Alright, sideways, ace match. They're tied. They do not want to risk too much on this one particular match, which is why we see basically a mirror build to the last time.
Yeah, and again, like, they were looking pretty even last series, but it was that burrow and burrow movement that we saw from Armani that, like, made him differentiate himself from SortOf, and he was able to showcase, like, his multitasking, and, you know, his attention span, I guess, you know, being able to hit all these places at once and continue to deny SortOf while, like, engaging his main army. Like, it was very impressive to see.
I agree.
Freaka TV?
Yes. So it's gonna be looking like we're gonna slow down for a little while. It's just, you know, that standard macro Zerg versus macro Zerg sort of game. It's, you know, not a lot of things really happen until around 3+ ish minutes.
Yeah, it will come down to
stretch your roaches, take a breath.
It'll come down to whether, like, last game Armani, he did send Ling Bane to the third of SortOf to try and deal a bunch of economic damage. Will he do the same thing again? Will SortOf try to do that against Armani instead? We'll see, because as so far, the builds are pretty similar, if not identical, to game number 2.
Oh, there's a... No, wait, the Evo Chamber was built by SortOf earlier.
Yeah, they're getting
trying to find find a different game. What is the one thing that they're doing differently? Well, here's something different. That's a lot of links coming out from Armani.
That's a lot of links. That's a lot of links, actually. Yep. And we'll see how he's able to
making their way.
Yeah, control his army, because SortOf he does have defensive banelings.
The Overlord does see it.
Oh, so he does know. He's positioning himself.
SortOf holding.
We'll see.
Trying to stop bailing. Yeah, he has to. He does not want to waste them. He lost one bailing, but he already has 2 more on the way. It is a lot harder to split the Zerglings than it is to get the bailing sniped, or to avoid getting the bailing sniped when you have 2 queens. And SortOf should be able to hold this, and he does.
He does, but he loses 6 drones in the process, as 2 Bailings did walk into his natural as that was happening. And now Armani is ahead in workers.
Mission accomplished. Look at that income.
Yeah, it's just these little things where he comes in and he's able to deal some damage, but now again, just like game number 2, it's SortOf's turn to try and deal some counter damage, but there is, oh my god, he has to be so careful.
He does. What was it that yesterday during GPO, Neomika kept giving Steel heart attacks?
Yeah.
That's, I sense a little bit of that sort of vibe coming in from Armani. Just be careful. Dude, calm down. But these are slow lings, and it looks like Armani should not be able to snipe these now that SortOf has turned around. But it looked a little dangerous for a second, this is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, SortOf, he does
These are a lot of lings, mein Gott.
Yeah, they're just leftovers really from Armani. He's just looking to deal some damage with them as they both look to get into roaches behind this. Armani with the upgrade advantage, maybe?
Soonish. Well, SortOf is going into Carapace, whereas Armani is going into range weapons.
Interesting.
And a roach versus roach scenario, honestly, Light, I think I would actually favor Carapace.
Actually, range weapons is the preferred. Yeah, it's the preferred upgrade for specifically Roach versus Roach. I imagine SortOf got the Carapace because he thought there was going to be more Ling Bane, because that's what you want if there's Ling Bane happening. Oh my god, that's a lot. That's a lot of spines.
That is a lot. Armani is anticipating a counterattack, which is coming for him. He did see that there was quite a bit of supply that SortOf had, and he knew, oh, if I go full on in, I'm dead. I need to prepare. And prepare. He's looking to do. You do not want to go up a ramp, SortOf. And so he does not. Meanwhile, there is a run-by going on at the third base location of Armani, but the Spines will be able to deter SortOf somewhat. SortOf is coming in. All of these vials, they were looking to connect, but at the very last second, Armani does pull back. And I don't know who's winning this fight, Light.
With these Spines, it looks like Armani is going to be able to hold and push away, SortOf, push him back. And he does it. He's able to hold on.
Wow. Okay, that was... Look, a lot was happening in that fight. But in the end, it does seem that Armani did get the upper hand. SortOf is trying to go in with a lot of lings. I would imagine there'd be more for the banelings quite soon, or at least some of them to at least soften up the queens or whatnot.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're going for another run-by. SortOf has seen that Armani has repositioned his spines and is going to act accordingly. He knows that there's not as many defenses at that third base location as there used to be.
Exactly. Important to note that SortOf is currently ahead in workers, as you know, during that push he did send a bunch of links to the third of Armani, and he did kill quite a number of drones, so he is taking advantage of that economic lead that he has.
think that one Overlord pulled all of Armani's roaches back. But that was the right call, as he does have to defend against this Ling run by from Armani, which he does. Sort of, meanwhile, is posturing. He does not want to reveal his hand too quickly. And so he's just going to let those Lings chill there for a minute.
Yeah, sort of. He's defending this very well, not letting these Lings in at all. But will they
actually, this +1. Yeah, actually, this +1 carapace, it works out pretty well to have this sort of elastic defense versus run-bys.
And we do have that +1 range now coming from SortOf, but meanwhile, Armani is working on +2 range, so we'll have that going for him. Ooh, it's one drone.
And some pretty nice scouting out as well.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I don't know how he did this, but Armani is now ahead in workers.
Well, I mean, keep your head down, drone up.
Yeah, he just hammered down that drone key. He was able to catch up and then some. Meanwhile, SortOf, he still has those Lings to the south, but he hasn't really done anything with them just yet. He's waiting for an opportunity to
he's
slip
pulling
in.
off a few. Yeah, he realizes he doesn't need that many Lings for a run by. He's going to pull off a few to regroup with his main army. If you actually look at the minimap, this is something I want to highlight. Look at SortOf's, okay, it's a little less pronounced now than it was earlier, but SortOf's Overlord spread absolutely saw almost everything that Armani had no vision on.
Yeah, nice Overlord spread from SortOf. We do have Armani pushing out, but everything does get seen by SortOf.
Bit of a noof on that Overlord.
Yeah, and once again, Armani, he's the first player to expand and get a fort.
That he has. I was gonna say, actually, SortOf has his ninja base, but no, that's just a mass of Lings. Waiting for their time. Nicely done from Armani to be able to supply block SortOf. It's when it is a roach when you know that the roach versus roach stage is inevitable. Generally, you tend to see which player can max out first. And so what Armani is trying to do is, you know, these little things that will prevent SortOf from getting the max out.
And here we go. SortOf is pushing
Here
out.
comes the clash.
Deny this fort
That's a
base.
spearhead, but that's a concave. And
Meanwhile,
actually, Armani's full army isn't here to fight this, whereas SortOf's army is.
Yeah, and that Ling run
no,
went
other way
all
around.
the way into the main of Armani as this is happening.
It did, and it's going to get quite a bit of damage done. Very nice positioning from SortOf. Armani's trying to go in from the north, but he is eating a lot of vials. I think this is going to swing entirely into SortOf's favor light.
Yeah, this is too much.
That +1 characters.
From SortOf.
Or actually, Armani has the +2, but he's not really making use of it.
Yeah,
and
again,
all of these vials do manage to take out a lot of these Overlords.
His army supply
Armani is getting supply capped and supply capped and supply capped.
Yeah, we saw the differences in army supply when Armani, he was going for the fourth base instead of spending his money on a fort himself. SortOf was just making more and more army, and we can see that now. In saying that though, Armani is starting to push it back and using his spines pretty well.
Yeah, he's splitting up the army of SortOf. He's using his spines. He has to be very careful because he does not want to engage SortOf's full-on army. But he's doing a fantastic job of splitting them up and focusing on, you know, the weaker half of the army, taking that out, and then focusing his full army on the other half.
Yeah, this is actually getting a little bit scary because now Armani holds, and now he has the, I should say...
He lost his fourth, to be fair.
He did lose his fourth, meanwhile, SortOf did gain his fourth, but now I feel like it's going to be Armani's turn to be able to deal some damage. He will intercept this Ling run by, or at least try to.
The Lings they are quite fast, especially versus roaches off creep. Actually, even on creep, they're faster. But a little bit of a misclick here from SortOf. Does lose a handful of Lings, but it's not the end of the world. He still has most of his Lings alive. And Armani is just being a bit of a shark here, who has borrowed roaches.
Yeah, there's
no
overseer,
that SortOf has seen it.
Vision, so Armani, he can take advantage of this and sneak in.
I believe SortOf did see the roaches, but he doesn't have any detection on it just yet. Or scratch that, maybe he hasn't. Nope, now he has. There's that detection.
He sees it. Oh, meanwhile, the main army of Armani is going towards the third base.
For the north.
His attention.
Look at this. SortOf is going to try to posture and fight this, and actually does pull up into a position into a concave position very, very quickly. Armani cannot fight this just yet, and just look at the army supply. Sort of shooting ahead, plus 30. Well, it was 30, now it's about 20-ish. Armani getting his mutas. Interesting choice.
Yeah, very odd. But he's going to get away with it. Like, he's going for this muta switch. The Spire is done. 15 mutas are on the way. There is no big anti-air army for SortOf. So these mutas, they could head across the map and they could...
I think he's just going to go for drone damage with them.
Exactly. He could deal game-ending damage by destroying the economy of SortOf and forcing him to push across the map.
Well, it seems like he doesn't need to even need to force him across the map right now. Like, SortOf is moving around. Yep, or he'll try to at any rate. He is starting to take out the Overseer to deny the detection, make sure that those roaches can get as much healing as it can. But actually, the roaches from SortOf is pushing in. There's not enough firepower here from the Mutalisk, but the Biles reign supreme.
GG.
Armani advances to the quarterfinals after a hell of a fight. SortOf really making him work there. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you, Light. About 5 minutes ago, I actually thought SortOf was going to advance.
Yeah, it was when SortOf pushed out and destroyed the fourth of Armani, where it was looking really good for SortOf, and then he ended up splitting his army, and Armani was able to take advantage of that, and he was able to like push back the segmented army of SortOf. And then when Armani went for those mutas, like the mutas, they were just too much. They were able to kill all the Ravagers, and then just the pure Roach just wasn't enough to break Armani.
I still like how basically the plan that Armani had was, okay, I'm gonna get a good number of mutas, I'm gonna go across the map, I'm gonna kill your drones, I'm gonna force you to all in. And SortOf said, you know what? I'm gonna all in anyway.
Yeah. And
so yeah, that's a little bit of a misreading perhaps from the side of SortOf. I think he didn't realize how good he was economically. I think if he realized, okay, I need to defend now, I need to make sure that, you know, I'm unstoppable, you can't kill me. But yeah, we eventually we saw how that worked out.
That we did. And we have another series coming in. I'm just going to quickly get the teams of these players. You're going to love Cure's team, by the way.
That I will. I already know the teams.
Uh-huh.
But you have to put them into the casting tool.
Yep, as well as find their respective logos.